They're counting on you. Against all odds, we've made it this far. But we both know that the old ways aren't going to work this time. This journey has changed us, changed you. But it's not over yet. You need the right tools for the job.
Troll Lord Games, join the fray.
Are we live, Chuck?
You are now live from the studios here at TLG. Davis and Steven Chenault talk AD&D.
Oh, I can actually see the, what is it called when people type?
It's called chat.
The chat. I can actually
Viewers.
see the chat.
Hey, so the most important question pressing the trolls today is when is the release date for Ridley Scott's The Dog Stars? That's the most
I
important.
need my binoculars to see it, though.
I can send you the MP4 if you want.
How's everyone doing today? Davis and I are doing an off-the-cuff stream today. He got to talk about AD&D the other day, and we thought we'd just carry the conversation over here.
So the question arose because we got into the A&D. We're talking A&D. Are you guys intoxicated?
Might interject real quick and let everyone know that's watching out there on the internet. Over here on twitch.tv/TrollerGames, we're doing some giveaways during the stream. If you want to get on those, just pop in here to the platform, give us a follow, and the next Sports Park raffle will get you in for the store codes. And you can certainly watch from any platform you want from there and just be here present for the giveaway. That's all. And you'll get your code picked up in our Discord, so you really don't have to hang out on Twitch that much. And that's all I have to say. So, Steve, you and the Emperor Chair, take it away.
So I want to say this. So I woke up this morning, and everyone out there experiences this. You go to the internet, you look at wherever you go, and whether it's Twitter, TikTok, X, Facebook, wherever you go, something's going to aggravate you, right? It's the way the internet's designed, blah, blah, blah. So if you want the anecdote to that, the anecdote to the internet's aggravation is you need to go follow Troll Lord Games and follow Davis's rambling tweets. It's not even his stuff; it's his responses. So one of the first tweets, whatever they're called, that I saw today was "gun to your head," and it had an image of a person with a gun to their head. What is name the fruit that doesn't have A in the name? So Davis responded immediately with banana, and then he put the CKG and Castles and Crusades and talked about Castles and Crusades. And I love the fact that he probably picked the only fruit with A in the name 3 times.
Yeah, no shit. I thought that too. He must just get on there and look for those opportunities like he's watching.
Yeah, they're so funny. It's so, because all of that stuff's bots, put out there to get hits or clicks or clinks or whatever they're doing. He's like,
All right, we'll see.
and Davis's response to those things is absolutely hysterical. So, he's talking about your banana post, Davis.
Oh. So
I
got on a feed the other day where it was all these things, and I really had it was those crazy whatever that I don't know what they are, like farming for action. But I had to bite my teeth not to respond to all of them because I went in and asked Grok at what point does it become spam, and Grok said, well, according to the algorithm, if you do XX and XX, and I was like, all right, I'm going to bite my teeth and not respond to every one of these today because it's fun too. It's sort of fun.
That stuff is hilarious. But anyways, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
So this is what prompted something on Twitter prompted the whole thing. There was I can't remember whose account I saw it on, but it was about whoever played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons by the rules, right? Like and I mean Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, DMG, all the rules, War and Peace level worth of rules that you memorized in your head and played at the table. Now, my first response when I read that post was, well, no one on God's green earth ever played by all the rules. There's a lot of freaking rules in that book.
That was the post. Yeah, that was the post.
Yeah, okay. So, but then I got to thinking about it. Maybe a few people did. I mean,
so Jay just said no one does, and he emphatically said no one. And when you said that the other day, Davis, I thought, well, now wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's lots of AD&D players. I'm guessing 1 million or something back in the 80s, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really know. And there were some rule sticklers at my table that I had to crush. But
yeah, that's where the whole idea of the rules lawyer came from. Is people would be like, well, on page X and X and X, you can do X and X and X and blah 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 blah. And
and then you posed an interesting question when we were talking about it. Can you actually, and we're going to throw this out to the chat, when we're talking about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, we're not talking about 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th.
Oh.
Because 2nd edition is not AD&D, it's 2nd edition. So
we're just talking about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Advanced Dungeons, AD&D, DMG, PHB, M&T.
Can you, with these 3 books, these 3 idiots right here, can you actually play by the rules, using all the rules, and play the game of AD&D? Chuck says no, not the game. I didn't even finish this sentence.
Yeah. Because I look back at it now and I'm like, how did we do that? All those matrices?
Wait a minute.
I don't remember. No, we didn't do that.
Davis, I'm not saying did we or whatever, but Davis had war games that had rule sets like 60 pages at 8 font.
But that's different.
Right? Is it? So if you're playing AD&D by the rules, can you actually do it? Or do the rules contradict themselves so much that it's impossible to do? So that's my question. It's an intellectual question. It's not a did we. It's not a do we want to. Can you?
So this is my gut instinct response. Now, it would be difficult because it's been so long since I played AD&D. I mean, I stopped when we developed CNC, and prior to that, let's say, for example, I had quit playing D&D by the book, like with all the rules that I could remember or cared to that were important in college sometime, like 1984-ish. I stopped with using as many rules as I possibly could. And variously before that, I don't know, in high school or with you, how many of the rules we used. I remember one occasion where you told me at the table something, a rule, and I got mad. Because you were like, well, that can't happen by this rule according to here. And I was like, okay, you want to play that game? Well, here on page DMG, page 236. So the two of us had, now I will say this about my brother. He didn't read all the books through and through that I know of ever, probably cumulatively over the years you have, but
maybe
at the time he would like flip through the book and he would find some obscure like two-sentence rule or something like that and throw it down at me. So I always felt compelled to like read all the rules, commit them to memory so that I could always like come back with something like that and either correct it or come up with another bizarre rule that makes you pay the price for having brought up me missing a rule. But where was I going with this?
I'm not sure. It still begs the question, though. Is the game as written in these 3 books? Now, I'm not talking about all the crap that came later. But are the rules contradictory? When you get into playing advanced Dungeons and Dragons, do the rules contradict themselves so that it becomes unplayable? It's not, and this is not an exercise or a question that is a challenge to what the human capacity is. This is a theoretical question. Let me rephrase it. So if a supercomputer that can process 400 trillion megabytes of information in a nanosecond, could it actually play a game of AD&D with the rules in the 3 core books as is written? And I'm going to say this.
No.
Why?
Have you looked at those charts? Maybe. I mean, it would be the most sterile experience you could ever have in a game.
It doesn't matter about emotional content or pacing or any of that.
Oh, shit.
As a game as is written in these 3 books, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, and Davis is right, I never read these books, that contradicted it, that I was playing, the dwarf says in the player's handbook, I can do this, but in the CKG, the dwarf says I have to do this, and they contradict. I can't think of anything.
I can't think of any outright contradictions.
Sorry, Ben Adams had an interesting comment I want to share with you, too. He says, I don't think the game has ever really been written. All the articles and Dragon from writers show that it's really almost been homebrewed itself over the years, I think is what he's trying to say.
Yes, no, I 100% agree with that comment that what you have when AD&D came out was the set of home rules that existed at that moment for several groups of players that they just, I don't want to say shoehorned, but that were put into the book, because I know Gary didn't use some of those rules. He told me he didn't use some of those rules.
No. Well, it says it in the D&D book, the DM's Guide, not to use it. So Spade Marlowe says, I would say they wouldn't contradict each other. They were just tons of rules modifying roles. And that's what I think that's probably very accurate. And it becomes so cumbersome that it becomes difficult to play.
Well, there's where it gets. So I can't think of any contradictions. I don't remember ever coming across any contradictions in the rules. But the rules were set up such that AD&D was basically a dozen mini games.
Yeah.
Okay. With their own, you have your own set of rules for the thief, with his percentage checks and stuff like that. Own set of rules for this, and own set like little mini games on how to get all this done. And then the combat, of course, was. You look at combat, man. Combat in AD&D was complicated as crap.
So it could be absolutely, but you could obviously. And this is what I think everyone's in the chat, and you too, Jay, are getting confused with my question. The question isn't, did we or should we or could we? Is it possible to play AD&D as is written in the 3 books and play it? And I think that it is. I played AD&D from whenever Davis got the Monster Manual up until Castles and Crusades, really after CNC came out for about a year or so, to 2006. So I played for 30 years or whatever. I don't ever remember, and everyone was as they were saying, like AD&D was a complicated. I don't remember it being complicated at all. I remember it being relatively easy. You really didn't have to read all of this stuff. You could if you wanted to. But even at the CKG, you can open, or the DMG, you can open it up. There's like 70 pages that's just magic items. Those aren't rules. Those are just magic items. That's not 70 pages of rules that I got to follow, right? And a lot of it's just suggestions and whatever. But for actual hardcore rules, this is the way the holy symbol works, whatever. I don't remember AD&D being difficult. We had to add stuff to it.
It wasn't difficult because we were really selective at certain points about which rules we were going to use.
Well, that is true. That probably helped.
Yeah, because so we used speed factor for a while. I recall we both really enjoyed the armor versus weapons tables. And
we did, and what we boiled the speed, I remember specifically what we did with speed factor, because you tried to run that for a while.
Yes.
We ended up cutting it down to basically 2 things. If your weapon had reach, you won initiative, and if you were using a dagger, because there was no knife in AD&D, if you were using a dagger or dirk, you got 2 swings or something like that to everyone else.
Right.
That was what it was.
I think we
that
all-
boiled the fat off.
I think we all did that, trying all that new shit and everything. But I think when we were thinking, I was thinking back about it, we did weapon speed for quite a bit. But it ended up with them always picking the weapons that had the best. It's always bullshit with them players.
Yeah,
So,
like the most
you know.
powerful weapon. The most powerful weapon in AD&D is what?
The club.
The dart.
Oh, the dart.
The dart. The dart. It's the single most powerful.
Is it really?
Is it a D6? Wasn't it like long darts? Like they were big, hefty darts, right?
Yeah, they're big darts. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a misunderstanding on that dart thing too, because everyone thinks it's like a dart you throw it like the dartboard or whatever. Those darts were freaking.
Yeah. Jeremy says 8 darts around. Jesus, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it was D4. It may have been D6. But
That's
I
a
think
lot
it
of
was
damage.
D6, I remember it. Yeah. Yeah, if you maxed it out between your dexterity and other things, especially if you get surprised, dude, your DPS is so freaking high it puts a paladin to shame.
You know what's funny about that, Davis, and weirdly ironic about a dark conversation?
A new
at the moment?
follower has
This
joined the
morning
fray.
I watched, I know you've seen the video, some footage that an archaeologist took in 1963 of a battle in Indonesia between 2 tribes they're just using darts, spears, and arrows. It is a wild watch. Go to YouTube if you're out there, watch it. It is
What is it
really. I don't know what it's called. I'll have to find it. It's like 1963. It's Indonesia. Battle between the indigenous people, but nobody is throwing anything around. I mean, you know what I mean? They're not at all hurling.
Oh, really?
They can't carry it. They can't. They don't have. In D&D, a quiver holds roughly 700 arrows. I think you can get like 32,000 arrows in one quiver. But the people who actually use these weapons, you can't carry 8 darts. They're too big.
No, they're too big.
Your hands aren't big enough. It just doesn't work that way physically.
Yeah. I should put a picture of one of what. Well, there's a dart in the weapons book. How big they are.
Yeah, you should write a weapons book for us, Davis, with some illustrations. That's what we need to do, engineering weapons. Oh, my God.
There we go.
Done. Oh,
Jeb, it's very
Done.
if you look at like
250 pages of blather.
if you look at like the Native Americans, the quivers, they didn't have 20 arrows in them. They had like 6 or 7 arrows in them.
Yeah.
And that Stone Age fellow they dug out of the ice, a few hundred years or 100, whatever the fuck it was, from 1,000 of years ago. His quiver actually had a board in the bottom of it that had holes in it that his arrows could go in. Because when you put 20 arrows into a small thing like that, when you pull one arrow out, they all come out. Because the point, it's very, even 20 arrows in a quiver, I think, is really not. What Cognitive Dissonance says, it's the 1963 Papua New Guinea tribal combat footage.
Yeah.
It is a wild watch. I recommend you
Is
watch
that
it.
it?
Very cool.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy that shit down. Thank you, Cognitive Distant.
Yeah, like only one guy gets wounded or something after this hour-long battle. It's pretty wild. David Shinoff's Book of Clubs.
Are these? Is there a particular picture you want me to put up, Davis? I've got it open here. I can grab a picture out of here.
Okay, so the Swiss dart is sort of like what I'm thinking of. It's on page 145. It's called a Swiss arrow.
Yeah, I got it.
It's pretty wild.
You know what? You know what's funny? So there's the actual throwing dart is on page 140. That's 12 inches in length. So it's
12
to here. Yeah.
Huge. That's a lawn dart. A lawn dart was about a foot long.
They're huge, and the feathers are going to be about 4 inches wide, right?
Oh, wow.
They're really big. Those throwing darts are really huge. So it's not like something you can stick in your boot pouch.
Yes, King Langley. I was just about to say that's why at the Battle of Agincourt and Portois, the archers took their arrows out because they came in bundles and they stuck them in the ground in front of them so you could get to them very, very quickly. Now, modern quivers are a little bit different. You can see there's this, I think she's Ukrainian or Russian, I can't remember, but she shoots in her target, I don't know, it's like 10 arrows in 10. It's insane. But she's got a modern quiver built to hold, all of that stuff so that you can get it out, which is possible.
There you go. I do it. I put it under Davis.
quivers. We're here to talk about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and as it relates to Castle Zagyg, a campaign we're running right now on Cracker Kid. But so back to our kind of original point. I never really had a problem playing AD&D. We would bring in rules, whether Davis was DMing or later in the 80s when I took over my own group and he got his own group. We would bring in rules and then go, oh, this slows the game down too much. Let's stop using it. But I don't remember, and I could be wrong. You guys are far more aficionados than I am because I did not read the books. Even after running games for 20 years, I never read the books. I don't remember it contradicting a lot. I don't remember it being difficult. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I can't. Like I said, I can't think of any contradictions. So I think that you probably could have played AD&D raw in its entirety if you could remember all the freaking.
If you could, that's the real rub, isn't it? Right there, it's just too much to remember.
Because I don't have a DMG handy, but I mean, there's a reason everyone was always reading their book at the table. It's like,
because you can't read it. You got font 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out here. I'm so glad that PDF technology was invented. That's all I'm saying.
Makes life a little easier.
Lord have mercy. There's a question on the table here, guys.
Yes, fire.
From Coop. What is a Vordenbogen from the last chart in backpack, but not in the armory?
Isn't that giant mace, Davis? Isn't that mall-like?
I'm going to look real quick before I say something.
He's going to go to the room and get one of his weapons out. He's got,
We do have on page 63 of the DMG, we have parlaying rules. So here's some rules so to play the game raw, as they say in the chat there, you would have to use parlaying rules.
Jay says there are some contradictions in the DMG when it comes to special effects from spells in PHP that for some reason are not in the PHP. I get that.
So
because I remember using the DM's guide a little bit at the table as players too, a little bit,
Yeah.
It wasn't separated like our CKG is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I used that a little bit, but I remember I started making the spells do different stuff. Okay, so Jay's got one. So there is a slight contradiction. Still playable, but it's a little bit of a problem. So I'm saying this not as whatever. I'm saying this because I'm a huge, as Jay knows, as Davis knows, as Chuck knows, I'm a huge fan of AD&D. I mean, I played that game for years. I never had any problems with it. I didn't find it tough or challenging. There's none of that. It wasn't confusing. It was probably next to Castles and Crusades. Not probably, definitely next to C&C, the best RPG made. Simply because. Chuck was really excited about that statement.
I mean, you're going. It's great. Keep going.
I got Chuck worked up. It just was a fantastic game that was really, really, really fun. And at the end of the day, that's the deal. It's really fun. No, Death Angel. It's just kind of hobbled together. Go ahead, Davis. Did you find it?
No, I can't find it in the.
So it's in the Adventurer's backpack.
Yeah.
I'm like 90% certain it is the weapon your character. What's his name? Begin with a B. Braylick used. And I think it's a maul. I think it's a gigantic. It's the Vordenbogen, Vordenbagen. It's on page 223.
Of what book?
Of the new Adventurer's backpack.
Okay, so it's in there. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the optional weapons bonus versus armor class chart.
I don't have one.
See, can you play C&C with all of the rules? There's your next question.
The answer's in there. You just need the player's handbook. That's all you need.
Can Steve play C&C with any of the rules?
No, he does not. Good question, Davis. You win a point. While they're looking this stuff up, anybody that's watching, if you want to get on the giveaways over here on twitch.tv/TrollLordGames, just come over and give us a follow. Exclamation point raffle in the chat will get you in the drawing for some store codes. We can only do it through Twitch, unfortunately, because that's where our bot is. But if not, that's cool. If you want to come in and do it and then leave and watch on your phone or wherever, that's totally fine.
So keeping in mind that I am a moron, but I think, Davis, that I put this in the Adventurer's backpack because you were reading something. So this is like a decade ago. Davis was reading something. He read about this weapon, and God knows where he read it. It probably would have been some weird German
Probably.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And then he gave it to Braylick, and it was this huge two-handed maul-like hammer, I think. But it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, and so more than likely, I'm going to have to do some research on that because I didn't see that in the.
And I probably spelled it wrong.
Probably. I don't have my copy. We only have one copy of ADP here because I still haven't ordered anything. So the one copy I have. No, it's a new one, but I gave it to my player that I killed Saturday night, so he could go home and make a new character. So I don't have a.
It's in the new. It's in the new one. It's in the new one.
Is it? Okay, I'll look at it. I'll look at it when I get my books in June or October or whenever.
So anyway, this is what the weapon is.
A new follower has joined the fray.
And it may be the Verteboggen, whatever, may be just either a misspelling or an archaic term for it, or just one of those random terms I picked for it that I found somewhere in a book somewhere and like the sound of it. So it's like a Tetsubo, but they were used in Europe. It's a big club, so like a third of it or half of its handle, right? You hold it two hands, and at the end are just big, huge metal knobs or sometimes spikes, right? And it was just used as a straight up massive bludgeoning weapon, and I cannot remember the name of it, the European German name off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure it's a German. I know it is. That's clear.
Yeah. No, it's German or Flemish, one of the two. And I probably just either liked that word. I may even have made it up.
I know you used it at the table 100%.
Wait,
but what it was, I can't quite remember.
I have it up.
I'm going to go to the club section of my book. I spent so much time obsessing over.
I was already stalking the link.
No, it's not going to be clubs or wooden. Damn it, this is metal attachment. It's going to be maces. Anyway, I'll get back to that later. I'll do some research and figure that out. Good question.
Chuck, I can't read that chart, Chuck.
Yes.
Malaki, what did you do to your group?
That begs the question. How many people actually tried to, or maybe believe that they did, or actually did play by all the advanced Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, there you go. Everyone in the chat would have said no, because they're already saying you can't actually play by all the rules. But the funny thing is, so here's what's funny about AD&D to me. So just to give those just joining this stream a little bit of background, I'm not going to go into this so much because we talk about it too often, but Davis got the books in 74, 75, and we started playing in 75, and then as the AD&D books came out, he got them. So he got the Monster Manual at Sears. I remember that. I don't remember him getting the PHP, but I remember him giving it to me and saying, hey, you got to read this, and I said no, and then we went on about whatever. But so we've been playing AD&D since it came out, right? And I remember when I started playing with Mac Golden, co-creator of Castles and Crusades, back in 85, maybe 84, but I think it's 85. Mac actually was the first one that irritated me quite a bit at the table because I found out very quickly that cover to cover, and I shit you not, guys, and I'm not exaggerating, he had memorized this book. So he could tell you anything about any monsters, hit dice, armor class, movement rates, so that anytime and he had been playing on it with his own group for years when he and I started gaming together. So I would like roll a Minotaur out, and he would immediately know the armor class and the hit dice, Mac models and all that stuff. And that's actually when I began changing stats for monsters because I had to make it different than what Mac remembered. So if we could get Mac on this stream, I wonder how much of the DMG he as a kid had read. I guarantee you he read it cover to cover. Guarantee.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, Mac would have read. I know I read it cover to cover. I would find it very difficult to believe that I could incorporate all of those rules.
It would be tough because you would have to remember that the rule existed. Is the biggest thing.
Okay, yeah, and there's another key. It's like you'd have to memorize. You have to know that the rule existed. So, for example, there's rules for spell research, right? And then I'm like, would I have known? Would I have remembered that there's rules for spell research, or would I have
Right.
just made it up? You know, and then all the rules in the appendixes of the DMG. There's a lot of rules in there. Now I know one that we did use, oddly enough, was the sentient weapon.
Yeah.
Those were because we had a few sentient weapons, which were really.
If you remember, you actually made, and I did this for the longest time, when my characters leveled up, time passed. We had to do the training period. And you would take gold out of my pocket because I think the fighter trained for like 2 weeks. I can't remember what it was. And then you would say, okay, that's $3, 3 gold pieces a day, or whatever. Well, I can't remember. It's 40 years ago, but and then you would deduct that money from my treasure.
Oh yeah, no, we did. Yeah, we used all those rules. On occasion, see, this is where I think we probably attempted to use virtually I did all the rules in the game at one time or another, but I don't think we used them all together at once. Here's one rule that I didn't like, or just like I fumbled my way through it after a while, were the surprise rules, which are important for combat. But I was just like, damn, no, I'm not going through this.
I don't even use the suppliers rules in CNC, and they're really easy.
He doesn't use any rules. He don't even use books.
It's exhausting.
He brings one book, and that's a monster book. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, here's a Marks the Shark said, players that start quoting rules hear the thunder from it. Dude, when people started quoting rules at the table for me, I didn't go ballistic, but let's just say it did not turn out well for the players.
Never, ever.
Coop Waffle says, did you know in AD&D 1E, the player character with the highest possible hit points having an 18 con is a druid?
Really? Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of little oddities to the game too that show up once you start crunching numbers and
Ray tails very frequently. I would say around 70%.
And trees. Lots of trees.
Lots of trees.
Oh, and there it is. Sonics. I totally forgot about Sonics.
Yeah, people have been asking about that.
Psionics a few times.
Yeah.
And it worked okay. The system was fine, I think. I didn't have any problem with it.
We were just like spells, I think. I don't.
Yeah, well, it was. I just don't remember it adding much to play, so we just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
I want to think Todd's character got psionics at one point. I don't think you ever did it, Davis, when you were running me in games. I don't remember that.
No, I quit allowing Sonics because I figured it just didn't match the whole.
The only time I remember us doing Sonics regularly was when we were going through the Expedition Barrier Peaks with all the science fiction stuff, because one of the guys in the group had psionics and he was able to interact with the computers and stuff. And I think after we went through that, they just stopped. I think we just forgot about psionics.
Hey Chuck, why don't you vid yourself in on this? Or is it too late for that? Is it too late for that?
No, I can.
Yeah, vid yourself in. Because you played AD&D out the wazoo too back in the Woebegone.
That's all we played.
Yeah, I don't remember Tomcat. I can't remember 10 Sonic Attacker. I can't. I know we used it just a little bit, but it wasn't that it was bad or poor or contrary or whatever. I don't remember. It could have been. I don't remember. I just remember it bogged down play too much, and I felt like it took away from the wizard to spell casting. So we just it's just too much. As those of you all know who've seen me play, I like really fast moving games, and things like speed factor and all of that stuff just slows everything down. Sonics with their own minigame. There you go. Even with the more hit dice, only got +2 on con total at the 8. The old Orange Spine DMG is my favorite DM guide of all time. CKG is probably a better guide than old DMG. Well, thank you, Nightcap. Old DMG was a tome of info that really got me to DMGs. The cover itself was the best. You're 100% right. This spine is awesome, and you'll be glad to know now we abandoned it. But all the original TLG publications had an orange spine, and it was a nice tip of the hat into TSR, the olden house. That was early, up through 2003.
You know what? Okay, so here's something that so I have certain for rules, I have certain there are things that just don't sit like in my head fluidly. And so here's the one, the durations on the spells, like 1 turn per level. I could never figure out in my head. I would actually have to get down a piece of paper and do the math somehow. How long a turn was, and then the rounds, how many rounds in a turn, because it seemed like, I don't know, whatever. I'm just going through some of these rules, remembering. Oh, and this argument always came up. So that I literally absolutely have no truck with this argument anymore because I have variable ranges and stuff. The area of effect.
Oh Lordy.
3 feet by 3 feet. Well, I'm 38 inches away. Can we stop and measure that?
And here, what was the other big argument that ended a game one night? I think I was running a Judges Guild module. I can't remember which one. Anyway, there was this magical
Beam of light going through the middle of this dungeon, right? And if you touched the beam of light, you were paralyzed, right? And you couldn't move. So this guy touched the beam of light and he got paralyzed. I was like, blah, blah. You're paralyzed, you can't move. And then, but it didn't explain how it worked or whatever. There was no explanation of what it was. It's just, if you touched it, you're paralyzed in place. So the other player said, I'll reach over and grab him and pull him off so that he's not paralyzed. I said, well, you're paralyzed too. Because I would assume that the magic just moved through him, right? And then the other guy like poked his 10-foot pole in it. And I was like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. You're paralyzed. So one of the guys in there was like all into physics and chemistry and stuff like that. And he goes, well, this just can't happen this way.
Oh, the chemist. What are the transitive properties of the pole? And
it turned into this crazy long discussion about what was going on with the magic of the pole and ions and electrons and all that kind of stuff.
It's like that debate when I saw online, because Sam picks up Frodo, the ring clearly did not have transitive properties. So Sam could have just carried him to the end or whatever. Which I think he was trying to do when Gollum jumped in there and beat the crap out of Sam. So I think that it transitive
you could have put the ring on a turtle's neck, I suppose. To put the turtle in a cage.
What did we, as kids, we used to put strings on June bugs? Was it a June bug?
Yeah.
And fly. So you just put the ring on a June bug. Sauron might be able to see around that ring, barrel, cement, ocean. There you go. It would come back, Jeremy. So anyways, back to AD&D. And for those of you guys just joining us, we're talking about Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, and we haven't quite got there yet, but as it also relates to Gary Gygax's Castle Zagyg, which is on Backer Kit right now. Please go over and check that campaign out. Pledge, show Gary Gygax some love, and let's get his dungeons out. But so AD&D, I don't know, it's very interesting, and I'm gonna have to figure out. There's a weird schism here in the because the old school community is hysterical with their arguments over various versions of the game, but I've never considered 2E part of AD&D. Why is Chuck? You played 2E. Yeah. Why is 2E considered Advanced Dungeons and Dragons?
Because it's really just a bunch of improvements.
So did it say Advanced Dungeons and Dragons on the cover of the 2E book?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it said, yeah, it did. Yeah.
Okay, so we're specifically talking about the 79 editions.
Yeah, because I never played. I played second edition once, and I did not like it, and I could not begin to tell you why I did not like it. But it probably was the DM, the guy running it. But I just didn't care for it, and I went back to the AD&D stuff.
So I think I can say for 2E what my thing was Thaco, whatever, however you want to. Okay, and I don't know why. Again, like I've said just previously, that there are certain rules that I have to math out, and I don't know why, because they're always like seemingly the simplest things that I have to map out in my head or map out on a piece of paper to use them properly. And Thaco was one of them, and it would never like sit in my head because I know people could do it like, just like off the top of their head, no big deal,
Right.
nothing. But for me, it was like it never grokked. It never just like sat there. So I did. That's why I did. That's why I think I didn't move over to 2E. And also, it was just a lot more book buying at that point, and I was on the road a lot, and I was like,
Yeah. So Jeremy says it was the second. This is what cracks me up about this. It was the second edition of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. They dropped the advanced title when they retired the basic line. It's why it's called third edition, not advanced third edition.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We carry this. Go ahead.
I just said they clearly went a different direction after that. They dropped that whole thing, So.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I like I said, I never bought it. I was in the Army when second edition came out, so I never bought it. Had my AD&D books. I'm the worst customer of all time. I stole Davis's books when he went, I don't know, Germany at some point. I ended up with your books. I guess you probably bought new ones. I don't know. I have no idea.
yeah.
And I kept using your books. Yeah, there you go. All right. And it says second edition.
It does say second edition.
So let me ask you this, Chuck, and this is kind of a little bit off topic of what we're talking about today, but between the book that you're holding in your hand and the book that I'm holding in my hand,
that one.
Is there a lot of written differences in the manuscripts? Is it, you know what I mean? Is that one completely different than what I'm holding, or is it kind of the same thing tweaked?
It's different. I mean, it's not really tweaked. There's a lot of extra stuff in here. I mean, it goes over some of the basics, but from my remembering, just like it's going into detail about poisons and stuff in here, a lot of this stuff, you got to remember, a lot of these rules are changes to apply to the second edition changes as well, right?
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff is going to be the same stuff, but it's going to be changed a little bit with the rules. But the layout was just so different too in this compared to the old one. But yeah, common knowledge kind of stuff.
The DMG for me was a fantastic. The first edition was a fantastic resource for gaming, not rules. I didn't use it much for rules. It just had all this. Sort of like we did with our own Castle Keeper's Guide. The CKG is not a rules book. There's very few rules in it. It's just filled with descriptions of caves and what monsters might eat and, blah, 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 blah.
You know what's funny is I found myself going, I'm sorry, Davis, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a metric ton of good advice, especially, I've just got it open now, conducting the game on page 110. Bringing new players into the game and stuff like that. This is really, really a good section on how to handle moving players in and out of a game.
You mean in the first edition Dungeon DMG?
Yeah.
It's this one here. Like when I go back and want to look up stuff for reference outside of our game, it's the first edition when it's not the second edition. Now, I don't think I've looked at this one in 10 years till today.
That's brilliant. So it really is it's really rules for the DM.
Yeah, and it just doesn't have as much panache to it. You know what I mean?
And I have to say also, one of the things I love, and I know I get a lot of criticism for this, I love about the early stuff and the early Castles and Crusade stuff, is there's not much art in it. When I look at the DMG, there's 12 pictures in it. I don't know, it's not much, and many of them are tiny. It's just a wall of text, which I 100% appreciate. I think that RPGs have turned into this strange, they're really
visual experience.
This visual thing, right? It's like going to an artist's gallery and looking at their thing. There's a little bit of rules on how you might want to run the ghost or something. I don't need all that. My imagination, I don't need 42,000 pictures of monsters. If you tell me that the orc has green skin and two horns coming out of his head, I'm good. I got it in my mind, and I'm going to flesh it out and move. But I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of.
Well, here you go. Second edition, page 55. Optional modifiers to initiative. You ready for this?
Let's hit it.
All right. Weapon speed. Let's see. Attacking with weapon speed. Breath weapon +1. Casting a spell, casting time. Yeah, casting time. Creature size. Monsters attacking with natural weapons only. 0 for tiny. 3 for small. +3 for medium. +6 for large. +9 for huge. +12 for gargantuan. Innate spell ability +3. Magical items. Miscellaneous magic +3. Potions +4. Rings +3. Rods +1. Scroll. I'm almost done. Scroll.
Davis off the stream.
Casting time of spell. Staff +2 and wand +3. And why wand over a staff? Because it's a third of the size. That's why. Even though it's casting a spell.
I'm now beginning to remember why I didn't switch to second edition. So I want to say, to the chat out there, to everybody out there that I have maligned over
Mega's like, sorry.
the second edition was clearly Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I was wrong. It is. They are together. They're the same thing because they're always part of those two. But I was wrong. They could be in the same family. However, I can see clearly why I didn't switch to the new second edition.
Well, you know, there's a lot to it. Oh, you know what? There's others. That's the special ones. The standard modifiers.
Oh, sweet Jesus, stop.
I'll just say the names. Hasted, slowed, on higher ground, set to receive a charge, wading or slippery footing, wading in deep water, foreign environment, hindered, tangled, climbing, held, and waiting.
Oh my God.
Waiting is a +1 initiative. Waiting.
Wait, is +1 to your initiative?
Yeah, if you're waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, Wolf alone says a single comment would take months. You know what's funny about that? And I'm not criticizing the game.
No, I love it so much, though. I do still love it.
We played third edition once as well. Mac ran the game. Davis, you were sitting at the table. And we played a couple of hours, whatever, and then we were second level, I can't remember, but we encountered like a mana core or something. It wasn't really tough, but it was kind of had a little bit of hit dice. And it took us about 3 hours to get mostly through the combat, and then we had to pick it up. We were going to pick it up the next week, and I said, "We're not doing that anymore." Everyone was bored because the combat took way too long.
I will say this:
15 minutes of combat. And that's it.
And what was
for
third edition.
For our group, when we switched from second to third, we didn't last that long. By 3.5, we were back to second edition in CNC, and then ultimately we moved to CNC.
But there's some people on that stuff. It's great. Crunch is cool. We just didn't.
Yeah, I can't do it. So now that I'm older, shit, man, I barely can handle it. I have to homebrew our rules out of our game. You know,
it's a whole pacing thing. I mean, if you got to stop.
Is.
And obviously, it was probably slower because none of us knew the system, so we're having to stop constantly and go look at whatever.
See, Ray's, look what Ray said there. They played AD&D and AD&D 2E in Iceland. We had the second edition PHP, but used the DMG and Monster Manual for first
edition. There you go. So, smart thinking.
I remember on 3E what shut the door for me on 3E was the one account I was running. You, Mac, Laura, Sarah, Todd, and Mark, and y'all encountered. Was it Hippogriffs?
Okay, so you were running the game. I thought it was Mac. No, okay, Hippogriffs. 100% was Hippogriffs. Because Manicore is too powerful.
Yeah, that was it.
You were running the game. That's right.
I was so pissed. I was angry. And I was like, okay, I'm out.
I will say this as a side note, since we are running a backer kit campaign for Gary Gygax and the legacy of Gary Gygax, the one complaint about third edition, I know he had two big ones that he told me, and one is going up levels too fast. But his other big complaint, which I thought was hysterical and which I tried to purge from CNC, but I think it slipped in there, was he hated the idea of a great sword and a great axe and a great mace. He's like, what? That's not how you name it. It was really funny. It was just, it was really funny.
Right. They, Jeremy says you can run up to 8 fights in a session in 2E. Clearly he's talking about playing by yourself, like solo, maybe. But, no. I almost want to challenge him to that and have him and Davis, run Davis through 8 fights. I want to see that happen.
8 fights. The session is 15 minutes long.
Yep.
Okay, I want someone get on Twitter.
I'll be right back.
Please, I'm not ordering anyone to do it, but someone, I don't know who it was, put up a flowchart of combat in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons on Twitter the other day, and it's 4 pages long. I don't know who put it up, and I didn't read that. I'm gonna have to go look for it anyway. But if anyone knows who or what things I am talking about, please put it. Was it Patty Parlor Games? No, I can't remember who put it up. Anyway, it's pretty funny looking at the flow chart, and I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of decision making to get through a round of combat.
Yeah,
which is why I think we'd cut it down.
Probably
very, very quickly.
I don't remember. That's the problem. The memories I have are just as if I was running CNC, even though we were using matrices and stuff. I guess we were used to it. We were in it. We're in the zone. We were younger. We didn't have to worry about like car payments and marriages and shit like that.
Yeah, here's the thing: is that, like I think as one, this isn't necessarily the case, but there's sufficient evidence to show that there's a number of people who, as we age and life sort of like gets in the way.
Yeah,
we move towards simpler rule sets just because we don't have the room for that. There's too much other stuff to worry about rather than memorizing all that. I think that there's some evidence for that, but I don't recall it either being complicated. Okay,
I swear I don't. But I look at it now and I'm lost, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I look at it now, and when I looked at that, look for it. When I looked at that spreadsheet, I was like, or that flowchart, I was like, oh my god.
Jay says in a 4-hour live stream he can get 2 smaller and 1 large combat off, and that's true. I've played enough of these games for sure. That's true.
Google
but Jay, you also help a lot with rolls and stuff. In a standard game at the table, I don't know. Maybe you make a lot of adjudicating on that. So there it is. Jeremy's got it for you in chat. 1, encounter distance. 2, surprise. 3, reaction adjustment. 4, declare actions. 5, initiative. 6, resolve spell segments. 7, resolve ranged, I think. 8, resolve melee. There you go.
No.
That was horribly complicated.
No. It's way more complicated than that.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Did you? Davis goes, it's way more complicated. I'm like, that seems way too complicated.
Jay says 9, smoke weed. I swear to God.
I'm just gonna get on X and X. I'm looking for this one thing.
Yeah, I want to see it because it's got me wondering about it. 9 is repeat from declare actions. Okay. He's looking for an AD&D combat graphic that shows the stages of combat. He has a better word for that than me. I just can't remember.
Yes, all I did was say, roll initiative. What do you do? And I always did individual initiative, so mine went insanely fast.
Okay, let me ask. Because I can't remember off the top of my head, is this a rule in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons? I don't even know if it's a rule in CNC. I think it's a rule in my game, and I get all those mixed up. Prior to the round beginning, you declare your actions for the round.
Tomcat literally just said, per the book, you declare actions before rolling initiative. I never did any of that.
Yeah, I do. I do that now in my game here at the table.
I don't. I just say roll initiative. What do you do?
Yeah.
I don't.
So I get it all out of the way, and then I don't go back to it. I tell them we're going to, but I don't go back to it. I make them just do it while they're playing.
You know, I don't do group initiatives or any of that stuff.
I love that, though. You kind of do group initiative when you're doing your big stuff. Spellcasters. Ranged. That's where I learned that from, was you.
No, everyone still does their own individual initiative. The only thing I'll do, and this is where it becomes challenging to run the game, is if I know where the spellcasters are, I have to keep in mind what their spell is doing and how it impacts other players at the table.
Like flow of time and all that.
But now I will, at my table, I will have everyone roll initiative simultaneously. And if Davis is the wizard and he gets, it'd be the AD&D in the context of our conversation, if he gets a 6, then I know his spell is going to might impact everybody. And you just got to kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But I don't break it down like Jeremy's got. I mean, maybe I do, and I don't know that I do. I don't know.
Okay. No, you don't do it Jeremy's way. You do it more like the way I was talking about. But I know what you're saying. I call that the flow of time rule. Because you have to kind of keep things in perspective for both sides and all that, you know. Yeah,
well, it's all about, for me, in combat, and this was the real strength of AD&D, I thought. Because if you do shed a lot of, and it's the strength of CNC, if you shed a lot of the extraneous rules, speed factor, all of that crap, which are cool rules, if you shed all of that, your combats can go really, really fast.
Yeah.
And if the combats are going fast, if I wound Chuck's character and 1.5 minutes later I wound Todd's character and I'm back to Chuck's character, he's still bleeding out when you're back. You know what I mean? So
that's right. You have to kind of keep that in there. That keeps it legit, you know.
Yeah, it can't be like a war game. I remember I played innumerable.
No, it can't be. No.
And I shit you not, I could finish a turn in Third Reich in what, Davis? 15 minutes, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Davis would spend like 45 minutes.
That's me. That's me right there. That's me. That's me.
I would be sitting there counting my units up and like, if I did this and if I did that,
That's
what
me.
would he do? And then blah, blah, blah.
I would go outside, get on my skateboard, skate around the court for a while.
Wow. That's crazy.
Okay, hey, Alucard Tepe's 145 says, fix no magic users because magic is for nerds.
Them two will agree with you 100% on that. You'll never see either one of them ever play a freaking wizard. Ever. That's not going to happen.
Davis is a hard on wizards, clerics, as a DM.
You think? Look at his damn world. They hunt them. Jesus.
What happened to Sarah's character? You told her not to say the god's name or something?
Not to enter that temple.
Oh, yeah. And she did because she's a cleric and she paid for it egregiously.
Oh, did she really? Ooh.
No, Peter, I do not. I don't have the mindset to play a wizard, illusionist, a magic user. I can play a cleric because they can hit things.
Listen, all you do. Let me give you a quick tip. If you want to play a wizard correctly, you look over your spells, take a minute, you look at the group, and you say, "I'm an asshole." That's all you got to do. You're good to go.
So, Davis, can I tell this? Say what you're going to say, Davis, and I'll tell the Podias story.
Well,
right.
Sarah who was playing that, she
Yeah.
had her nose cut off, her ears cut off, her tongue removed, and her fingers cut off.
Oh my God, Davis!
That was the punishment for entering the temple. Okay.
Jesus, what kind of game are you playing? Oh my God!
Well, that's in Zaya. You get punished for wrongdoing.
Okay. No, that's cool.
So,
It's a brutal world.
in Sarah's defense, she continued to play the character.
Nice.
Sarah's a good
Nice.
player.
Yes, it's a great player. She's like, well, okay, accept my punishment. As a cleric, it's going to be really hard to deal with. But she got second sight so that she could actually eventually feel things and hear things, but it was through the gods that she was able to do it. But she was completely disfigured.
Wow,
Her tongue
man,
wasn't removed.
that's some crazy
Her tongue
shit.
wasn't removed. Her tongue wasn't removed. Her lips were cut off. That
So,
was it.
just in reference to when she was playing that character, I was on my third character in that game.
You know, and I want you guys to understand, I've heard a lot of stories from these two over the years, but there's always some sort of maiming shit going on. Like you sewing your mouth shut for like 10 years or something. Y'all are brutal. I mean, like y'all are like physically brutal with your shit.
I think there are times where I've read too much.
Okay,
of the,
Omega.
I've read too much of like the history of justice and in anthropology, reading about anyway the cruelty with which people can visit upon each other.
It can be huge. So I will tell you this, Chuck. I played one of my favorite characters I ever played was all of them are in Davis's game, just about.
Yeah.
Davis says Photius. I said Photius. Photius the mage.
Sounds better.
And did I get to second level? I can't remember if I did. I don't think I did. We played in the Tower of the Dog. We did whatever that DMZ adventure, Vaku. And then there was a knight, a fighter, and blah blah. Couldn't have 5 or 6 characters, all war based. I was the wizard, and we got attacked by these warg riding goblins. And there was it was night. We couldn't tell how many they were. They were shooting arrows at us. They had us pinned down in this kind of little tops of trees on a hill up. This encounter goes on for like 10 minutes. And I cast magic missile or whatever stupid spells I had. As soon as I ran out of spells, I let that go on for a couple of melee rounds. But when no one else would attack, Podias pulled his dagger out, charged down the hill, and I killed a goblin and then promptly got obliterated.
Wow.
But that's why my wizards always die.
All right, so I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this spreadsheet up. I'm sorry, Davis. I got the spreadsheet or the sheet for the AD&D combat. I'm gonna put it up in the stream so I can scroll through it.
Okay.
What are you gonna say?
Yeah, the funny thing about that combat was that you were with a fighter that didn't come out of combat, a ranger that didn't come out of combat, and
Chris was a knight.
Huh?
Chris was a
yeah,
knight.
Chris was a knight, and there was a
I
knight.
remember that. It's hilarious. That's why I don't play wizards. It's never a good idea.
No.
I die as fighters. I died in Jeremy's game Monday. I die as just about anything I play.
I can't say anything. I've died in your games a lot, so. And I haven't played in a lot of them in the past few. I've played less in your games since I started working for you than prior. That's what's weird. But
Yeah, it's weird.
Hey, Chuck, where were you going to put it up on the Twitch screen?
yes, I'm getting to it now.
Okay.
I got to do a.
I'm trying to figure out how to use my
So
computer.
let me ask the chat out there. First off, Chuck, when you get that up, put the link up for, or what do I need to type something? Put the link up for the campaign.
Exclamation point CF will get you up there
All right.
for crowdfund.
Exclamation point.
Can't
CF.
believe I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there we go. Look at it, Chuck. That actually worked. Chuck
Yeah.
is a G. We are running a campaign for Castle Zagyg right now. The legacy of Gary Gygax. Go over there and pledge to it. And if not, spread the word. At least we're talking about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons today. And I'll give you guys a quick little rundown while Davis and Chuck are going over this chart, whatever the hell they're doing. When we were doing Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition material, Troller Games was. We were publishing a lot of Gary's stuff, and he pitched to us Castle Zagyg and what he wanted to do. My first suggestion to Gary was to create his own little game system and just put it in the back of the book, and then we just put that out because he wanted it to be like AD&D. But he was pretty adamant, and somewhere in one of the Dragon magazines, I'm sure some of you aficionados could track this down. Gary wrote about RPGs only work if you support the RPG, etc., etc. So he didn't want Castle Zagyg to just fall into this kind of hole that it's its own little system that no one plays. They buy the book and they don't ever play it. He wanted them to play it, so he wanted a very active community. 3rd edition, he believed, leveled up far too fast, so he didn't want it to come out as 3rd edition. There was no 4th or 5th. There really were no other options in those days that we could use. And we were already talking, Davis and Mac and I were already talking about Troller Games doing its own role-playing game. And I desperately needed something that I could get a little bit more emotionally behind. And Davis and Mac were just chomping at the bits to create a game. So all three of these things kind of work together. Gary's like, no. First, what kind of game are you guys going to make? And I said, I don't know. Davis and Chuck or Davis and Mac are doing it, but it's got to be like AD&D because that's the game I love so much. It's got to have that kind of feel to it. And he goes, all right, then let's do Castle Zagyg as Castles and Crusades. So his the early material he worked on for Castle Zagyg, the Dungeons of Greyhawk, if you will, were all written for Castles and Crusades. Both the book Yearbook, the Yigsburg, and when he was working with Jeff Talanian, the Upperworks material, all written for Castles and Crusades. And Castles and Crusades, always one of our driving things was to have that same spirit of freedom, I guess is the right word. Maybe, I don't know, for the CK and for the players that AD&D did. Because at no point in running AD&D games, did I feel bogged down by the rules or what was out there. I just didn't use some or did use some. And I will say this is kind of an appendix to all of that. Once, the only really mistake we made with Castles and Crusades, about 2 years, it was about a year after the game came out, I started running CNC. And when it's the first time I'd run it, and in the first combat, I said, all right, everybody roll initiative. And I picked up a D6 and I rolled a D6, and Mark Sandy picked up a D6, but Mac and Davis picked up D10s. And obviously the initiatives were out of whack. And I said, okay, wait a minute. What is the initiative die roll in Castles and Crusades? And Mac said D10. And then I said, well, so Todd didn't want to use a D10. Todd, huge AD&D fan, wanted to use a D6. So an argument immediately erupted between Davis, Mac, and Todd. Todd was always just arguing with people for the sake to argue with people. It really wasn't a logical argument on Todd's part. But Mark Sandy then comes in, who some of you may remember from the early Troll days. Mark Sandy comes in and says, we're using a D6. Isn't this America? And then he rolled his D6, and that kind of cemented the D6 in our Thursday night game. And we still use the D6 when we play Castles and Crusades. And I kind of wish we'd just done D6 as the initiative way back in 2004. But we didn't. The official rule is a D10. Yes, Dino Todd is absolutely the best. Absolutely hilarious. There you go. There you go. Do what, Davis?
Hold on just one second. Okay, I found it. Where's Chuck?
Oh, he disappeared.
Okay, I don't know how to put. I can't put. I don't have a Twitch account.
No,
Twitch
it's all
won't
good.
let me-
It's all good.
Okay, so I sent the link to the script place that has it, the website that has the whole thing annotated, and I put you the images of the flowchart. It's 8 pages or 8.
Yeah, I know. I got the same
Lord.
one loaded up here. I just got to get myself fixed here. I'll be on.
Oh no, you don't.
Chance?
Go to market, social media and market.
No, I know. I know. It's the same one I've got.
Oh, okay.
I just haven't scrolled down yet.
Mine are pretty. Mine are prettier.
Oh my God.
27 says, I hate D6 with a passion. I have some D12 that have 1D6 on it twice. I certainly get the internal logic behind the D10, but the D6
the D10 is logical. It has to stay, and it's also the reason. This is like so. My brother and I will often be at loggerheads because
surely not. Say it as it's so.
It's sort of like design questions follow me. I love the D30. The D30 is the best dice.
Sparky for the win.
Oh.
The D30 should be the base of all these games by any stretch of the imagination. Anyway.
I agree, Jeremy.
So I'll quit yelling and screaming. I just got excited, Sparky. You hit a nerve.
You did, Sparky. He designed the whole Cleaver the Pit game was designed around a D30. He just wanted a reason to do a D30.
It's the unsung hero. But I also, the D6 is whatever it is. Okay, so, yes, I don't, no, there's, okay, so we're at loggerheads, right? So I try to keep a system whereby, a mathematically sound system whereby I can add and subtract to it within whatever parameters that are set up, right? So it's D10, D20, you base everything on your, whatever, 3, 6s, 5, whatever. You just build it so you can add and subtract to it and keep everything within these certain ranges, right? And then randomly, my brother's like, oh yeah, well, we're just gonna do this. Because it's a lot quicker. And I'm like, what? No, it doesn't make any sense in the long run. I can't add to it. I can't subtract to it from it. I can't build a system around it. Like, for example, that I'm running into. Speaking of which, I'm on the 4th rewrite of Engineering Boats.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. The prices of things.
That's a whole different topic.
Looks literally, yeah, Chuck, that's it. That's the chart. 8, can't look at that right there.
All right, I'm gonna get under. Oh my God, is that an AD&D chart?
Yeah, that's 1 of 8.
I never played AD&D then, clearly. I played a different game.
Nobody did.
And there's Mr. Jeremy Farkas with us.
Jeremy has joined us.
So I'm going to go through these.
Hold on, Chuck. So, Davis, one of my childhood memories from playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons so very much. So Davis and I morphed. I didn't. This is a Davis-ism. This isn't a Steve-ism. Davis got the Little Brown Books. Davis got the Monster Manual and the Player's Handbook and the DMG. And Davis bought the adventures, and Davis ran the kid. Up until probably the first 2 years, you made my characters, Davis. I didn't even roll the damn character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he gave me, this is what you're playing. Give
No
it a
shit.
name. All I would do was name the shit and go on. But I do remember as our game evolved somewhat, and I've told that famous T-Rex story all the time, as you began to kind of, and I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you bought everything. You bought all the box sets. You bought things like Dragon Quest, all the little RPGs that had cropped up elsewhere. You bought all of those things. So you were beginning to merge everything with our game. And I do remember you would make all these copious notes and all of this shit. And I would go, okay, I attack it. I could give a shit about all of your stuff. And I remember you being frustrated all the time.
Yeah, it is. But it also, so
your relationship has not changed.
It hasn't changed.
So, but it did lead to, so the merging led to some really cool stuff, though. So here was one, and it sort of was an accidental result. So both my brother and I war gamed a lot. Those chip-based war games we played, that's where we started off. Chip-based war games. And we played them up through
Oh, we played forever in a day.
Till
In
you
Germany,
went
we
to
played them.
college.
Yeah.
We played it in Germany. We played everywhere.
What are the ones that came in like the plastic clamshell with there
Yes.
was like the
Yeah.
Roman one and
Yep,
the
we had all of
Celtic
those.
one and the boat like the yeoman.
Yeah, what
Those
is
were
that
great.
series called? We have that.
It's an SPI put them out. One's Chariots, one's Roman.
There's a
There's a Viking one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 9.
Those they're all like monochrome different
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah.
Those are awesome games.
They
Those
are
are really really
fantastic.
awesome.
The rules are like 3 pages.
It's very fast. Although
Yeah.
I've been kind of partial to this lately because a lot of Gary's stuff is from this that I'm working with is from this era. So I'm like, what the hell? What is he talking
Look at that.
about? And a lot of the answers are in here.
Yeah, there you go. Firefight.
Wow.
That's so. Just as a side note, when we in my AD&D game when I was doing the whole Create the World of Air game, and we had huge pitched battles, I took a bunch of our war games, but the maps from Firefight were my maps because Firefight is small infantry tactics in the Cold War.
Right.
They're-
Condition. The
so
only
the
one
maps
left
is
is
really
condition.
rivers.
Dude, that's great.
Bush
Sorry.
and shit. Somewhere around here, I have the rules I wrote for a fantasy RPG that had all that bullshit in it.
Oh yeah, no, this is what I was leading up to. So the fantasy art, we were both into wargaming, and yeah, you took like all my games and combined all the chits, like mixed all the chits together, which would infuriate me to no end when chits were mixed, because he had to go back through each one of those 2,000 chits because he didn't even do it organized. You just pile them in a bag.
Yeah, they're all in the bag. There was one that was a cornerstone called like Sorcerer's something.
I can't remember.
It had
I remember it.
That one I use a lot. Now that chainmail you're holding there, Jeremy, is interesting because I know Davis had it. I've got it in the desk here. I don't remember us playing it at all.
I like it kind of. It's it's a 3-4 hour game.
Yeah.
For a 50 to 100 point army, but it's I would describe it as very neat because it kind of explains a lot of those weird quirks of the system that persist to this very day.
Oh, interesting.
There's because it was like a Frankenstein thing that was bolted on top of this. But the fantasy combat table right here was the man-to-man and the fantasy combat table were what was used originally when the fantasy game first came out for resolving fights, and it's just both of you roll 2d6s. If you meet a certain target number, which is on the matrix,
right.
If you exceed it, your opponent dies. It's a single roll, and if you tie it, I think you retreat or something. I don't remember.
It's very war game.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, very typical of a war game. So
I've got this.
Oh, you want to roll? Yeah, you want to roll over.
Do what, Chuck?
I spent 15 hours putting this damn PDF up here, so let's go through it. Before we move on to chainmail, I have to go get another PDF.
Real quick to a question in chat because I can address it real quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Did we meet any in Germany? Did we meet any AD or role players who weren't playing AD&D? I forced other people to play stuff other than AD&D. But as for other gaming groups that I met, no, not maybe one. I don't know. But I forced people to play Rollmaster, Warhammer. What was the other one? Dragon Quest, RuneQuest.
I remember Dragon Quest. You loved Dragon Quest.
I love Dragon
Don't
Quest.
know why. But
I remember it. That's the
Did you
dude
do
standing
any
there
of
with the
the-
sword and the dragon head or whatever, right?
Did you do any of the? Is Dragon Quest one of the like Chaosium percentile games or?
let me look it up.
It's
I
there.
don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was English though. I think it was from them. Maybe.
It never made a splash, Jeremy.
I don't remember. It's not. Jay says no.
Okay.
So is this
There
really?
was a spate in the early '80s where there was just tons of.
I'm thinking of Pendragon, the Arthurian.
Oh yeah. There you go. That makes more sense.
Yeah,
Look up the
Rollmaster,
Argentinian
we
cover.
played Rollmaster for a long time.
All right, Ben.
Still enjoy
I'm gonna do
playing
it.
Rollmaster today. Except I don't remember
God
any
in
rules for
heaven.
Rollmaster. But I would love to play with someone who knows the rules for Rollmaster and could just like trill them
Matt?
out to me real quick. As we're
You like-
playing.
You like tables?
Yeah.
You like edge case rules?
Davis
like
loved
crunch?
Rollmaster.
This
Do you,
is still
do you
my
enjoy
first
the?
test.
Do you enjoy the prospect of eating gravel with a spoon? Is that your level of strength?
This is
And
still
do I
on
have
my
the game for you?
reference desk. My number 5
So
books on my reference.
So here's something interesting about. So this isn't really an AD&D thing, but so Mark Sandy, who played with me from '85 till just a few years ago, he loved Crunch. He absolutely loved Crunch. He eventually left CNC and went into a Pathfinder group because they had so much Crunch in it. Yeah, there you go. And Mark told me once, and this is very eye-opening to me. His big thing about Rollmaster, the reason he loved it so, I think it was Rollmaster, maybe it was Merc, one of those, is that he, as a player, could figure out. He's really good at math. Really good at math. He could figure out his odds if he took an action of succeeding. So then he would use that to kind of govern whether he takes the action. Now that's not really how the rest of us were playing. I mean, the whole idea is the heroic. Go be a hero.
Heroic set piece fantasy.
Yeah, but so it's very eye opening, and he loved Rollmaster for that.
Well, that kind of comes to like there's like two prongs to like where your game can kind of go. There's games that reward system mastery, which is like a Pathfinder or a Rollmaster where you know those odds, you've got them locked in your head, and it's kind of a test of your ability to intuit how to game it versus like player mastery, which is your ability to, in the fiction of that world, think of something that seems like it might work and solve the problem in a more narrative way.
That action.
Yeah.
So it looks like Dragon Quest was put out by SPI. That I didn't know. There you go.
God in heaven, look at that chart.
That's probably why I like Dragon Quest.
So the first chart here is just surprise.
Yeah.
Well, I can't see it very well. Can you drop it?
Can't read it.
Chat.
Yeah. Oh, you can look in our chat. He dropped all the individual images, which are the same resolution as this. So I'll have to read some of it if you can't see it.
That's right.
This chart. Remember, everybody out there, we are running a backer kit campaign on Castle Zagyg, Gary Gygax's Legacy. Go over and check that sucker out. Now let's dive in.
This reminded me, there is a rule. You determine how many segments of surprise there are, because it's not rounds, it's segments.
Yeah.
And the group that gets the drop on the other group can attack every segment of that round.
Yeah.
So if you get surprised, you can have some group of orcs wail on you potentially 8 times or
6.
like 10, 9, 6, 9, however many.
Well,
how many segments?
I
think it's 10 segments to a round.
It
10
is.
segments to a round, I think.
Davis, I gotta show this to Tom. I gotta show this to Tom.
They could get 9 hits on you before you ever get a turn.
Yeah, getting surprised in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was absolutely freaking brutal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In a dungeon especially. I'll make some coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. I got lost after the first diamond.
Yeah, I couldn't. There's no. This has been one of those things that Davis presented to me before game. I was like, yeah, we're not doing that.
You know damn well whether he said he was doing this or not. He was just making a damn decision.
There's no way you can do all this. That's funny as shit.
I look at it and all I see is Siege Engine. Sorry.
Well, I mean, this is
For sure.
This is every single fringe.
100%.
Like
100%.
If your party's not sneaking, you can ignore this whole page.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Except for monster surprise.
And it's explaining something that takes about a nanosecond to do at that table.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know it's broke down and everything, but it's interesting to see the process behind it. You know
Whoever
what I mean?
did this all wrong though. These should be pie charts.
What did that even?
I love
wouldn't even know how to glean information. From
You know what? I feel like oh shit, what is his name with the pie charts?
Yes, Charles.
Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie,
Did you see him at Page? He showed up at Page.
I did, and he promised me a pie chart.
He blew my mind. He walked up to me and I was like, what the hell? So anyway.
Yeah, he fell out of the pie chart business. I mean, he fell out of the RPG business for a while.
Yeah.
Charlie used to give me a monthly pie chart on stuff. It was great.
whatever.
That's why you've waylaid your son into doing it. So
That's right. That's right. I get lots of pie charts from Wilson.
I'm gonna go to the next page. We're gonna go on to surprise segment combat. What? Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. So like the because you get segments of combat where one side is just like standing there gawping and the other side is wailing on them.
Oh, okay. I got you.
And
Davis,
I know that has come up at some point because I know that I got rid of that and just went down. If you got surprised, you got 1 round of free action. That was it.
The thing that I still can't, I run AD&D as my home game still, and the one thing I can't wrap my puny brain around is a round being a minute. Like the way I want to describe it,
Right.
yeah. Minute's a long
is
time.
much tighter than a minute.
Okay, this is where you have. I think there's a disjunct in what's. So, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and
It's
a war
it's
game.
abstracted. Yeah, it's an abstraction.
It's a war game that takes place in segments of time, like all war games take place in segments of time. So, and the 1 minute is supposed to. I mean, it represents 1 minute of time. So when you say like the damage or whatever, it's like 1 minute of fighting. Which, if you watch those fencing matches or those sword matches and stuff, you could rarely get 1 minute out of a sword fight or something like that before someone's down. But in any respect, yeah, it's more like if you think of it more like a war game, and damage is not so much like you get cut here, blah blah blah. This whatever.
Because technically, your hit points is your stamina, and you only get hit 1 time to kill you. It's the last one.
It's the
That's
last
the one.
one. Yeah.
But I feel you, Jeremy, because a minute is an extraordinarily long time.
Yeah, and it's a long fight. It's like we've been fighting for 5 continuous minutes.
Yeah, that's a long time. If you actually start doing something and put a little clock on for like 1 minute, you'll be surprised at how much you can get done in a minute.
Right.
It's a lot.
I gotta run. I gotta go see a man about a car.
All right, later, Jeremy.
About a what?
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't often question him and what he does in the nefarious ways.
Jeremy just comes and goes.
He just comes and
So
goes.
you're on page 2 of that thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, dude. That is the insanest chart. I know.
Let's just go to determining distance and initiative.
Yeah, see, so this is what I mean by if you're using, there are tons and tons of rules in the game, right? So if you just go through this, determine distance and initiative, it's not that you couldn't come to that quickly, but you'd have to know all those rules, like buried as background in your head that immediately come up. Like when you're walking down. Otherwise, you're sitting there and you're going through, and then you have to find the random rule that says this or that and the other.
Right.
And it's like,
look at the combat actions list there. Do you see that? The combat actions list. You can flee, parley, await action, missile attack, use magic items, cast spells, turn undead, close to striking range, charge, set weapons against the charge, strike blows, that includes pummeling, grappling, overbear, and monster special attacks. So there's 13 different combat actions. I have 4. Non-combat, spell, ranged, melee. That's it. That's all I got.
yeah. No. So this is where it reaches that point.
That's wild.
The very abstract from the basic, from the brown box set, from the very abstracted brown box set, and inevitably, not in every case. Let's say, for example, for people who design games or run games a lot or like rules a lot, there's a desire to create more rules.
A new follower has joined the fray.
It's an inevitability almost, right? And I think Rollmaster hits almost the pinnacle of that.
Yeah.
I fight that here at Troll Lord Games all the time.
Raker, they're just off the internet. Someone posted on X. They're around in the community.
So let me ask you, David.
But again, this shows every possible situational thing for each stage, right? So it's a little over.
So this pie chart that we're looking at, right? Obviously, you didn't use it. Obviously, I didn't use it. But when you're going through it, and I never would have read any of this shit, is all of this stuff on these 8 pages written in a section of the 3 books?
No.
Okay, so it's scattered everywhere.
It's pretty much it's. I mean, I wouldn't say everywhere, but it's scattered. You would have to pull all of it together.
Where are the combat rules in AD&D? Is it in the PHB or the CKG?
I guess probably both.
Nobody knows.
I mean,
it depends. They're in both the PHB, CKG, and the Monster Manual.
Yeah, so, there is some rules in the Monster Manual. You're right about that.
If I just wanted to learn it, is it like in one spot?
Yeah, and there's records saying they contradict right there.
Oh mean,
We were just talking about that earlier about contradictions.
We were. Wait, maybe I should look at the table of contents. Creating character.
You know, no, there's no, no, there's not a place you can go to and say this is how combat works.
I do have to say, having played this game in my childhood when I was 10 and 7 and whatever, and for many, many, many years, just opening the books, there's this comforting feeling about it.
Oh, yeah.
There's this,
I honestly can't, I have no idea how I learned this.
Well, I do, because you learned it in the basic sets, and I know you
Right.
bought it.
Yeah, we all started basic.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you had the little brown book, so that's where you learned it, the core.
Yes.
And I know you bought at least one box set. I don't know which one it was. I remember you buying it.
It was sold at Sears in
Yeah.
1977.
What color was the-
Blue?
So you bought the expert set then, the blue box.
That's what. That sounds very, very.
Was
Yeah.
it the expert set?
Yeah, it's got a
It
dragon on
sounds-
the front of it. Yeah.
Blue dragon on the front, yeah, or blue box with. The
I
dragon
don't
on
think
the
you ever bought the Larry Elmore, the
No,
one
I
everyone
didn't.
loves,
No,
the
uh-uh.
red box, whatever it's called.
The red box,
box
the
and
Frank
the-
Mincer one. Yeah, right. And then after that was what were the other two? The green and the black Masters, and I can never keep track of them all. But
Hey, do
There
you
you go.
have my little blue box?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, I've got all of your stuff now. It's got
Yes.
some wear and tear.
Davis, this is what you need. This is all 5 of those basics, those early sets in one book. There you go.
You know who lent me his? Mark. Mark has that. He lent me his.
Dude,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
This is a reprint. It's a
He
POD.
wanted them back, so I gave them back.
Yeah, mine was my original was just trash, but this is a POD I got, and it's rather nice. I will say it's good. If you're curious about that stuff.
Yes, mine is the Dungeons and Dragons 1001 basic set 1977 TSR game, Blizzard logo, GMO style for.
Nice.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's the set that really took us off.
Was it really?
Yeah, but I mean, we played with the brown set before, but that was so intermixed with other gaming at the other time, at the like these board games and stuff like that.
Sure, sure.
And then in 1977, they were selling that particular item at Sears, and I picked it up.
Yeah.
And I remember it sat for maybe 6 months.
Did you?
While I was coming back and forth to it, trying to figure out what was going on with it.
Sure.
And we were playing games at the time.
We
The
didn't.
game that we were playing was SPI's Lord of the Rings.
That was
Oh, really?
Yeah, was it SPI?
I have that.
Yeah, because that's what we were playing a lot of at the time.
Oh, okay.
And I remember during one of those games, they're like, we got tired of it or whatever, and I just said, well, let's
Davis,
just-
I think you're confabulating something. That
I
6
mean-
months, that was the little brown books.
Okay, those brown books may have been sitting there.
Well, we.
You put those little brown books in the closet, and each of them has your name written on it.
I remember you telling me that. I remember you saying that.
Davis.
You know.
Because you didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
And
maybe
then it
it's
was-
that I'm thinking of.
It was months later when you got the blue box that you're talking about. That I think you already had the monster manual when you got that. Because I remember
Oh.
you thinking, because it says expert on it or something. Does it say expert?
It does say
I don't know
expert
what it
rules. It
says.
says expert rules. Yeah.
I could have sworn you got the expert set, but I can't because I remember you thinking, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is the next step for AD&D."
No, I'm going to show you a picture of. I'm going to say
It's not AD&D. It's basic. So keep that in mind. Or expert.
I can't.
But you know when we
But
when
now
we when we got that blue box, we didn't buy the other ones really. I got them, but it had the blue box. I don't know if you know this, but it had the greatest adventure ever written for D&D ever of all time. Yeah, Isle of Dread. I mean,
Oh no!
nothing greater than that. That's the greatest one. Period. It's great. It's period. So
There is no argument.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
looking at what you said
we wore the
today.
shit out of that box, and then we went
Oh
on to
yeah,
AD&D.
okay. No, I do remember you getting that. I mean, I don't remember you getting that. I remember you having it. The one I'm thinking of was blue.
Oh, that's Holmes right there. That's a Holmes edition. That's what I've got, Davis.
Yeah, Davis,
That's
we were
Holmes.
already playing by the time that came out, for sure.
Yeah, no, we had been, but I remember when that came out was like a watershed for me in playing.
Yeah.
Right, that's where I sort of changed up the whole play.
Oh yeah.
Started bringing in other, and where I think I really started to understand what would the potentials of it and stuff like that. Anyway,
So here you go. Let me do you one here. Frank sent me over this. I was going to look for it, but he actually looked for it and found it.
Because that was the first. That's the first adventure module I think that I took you through. Was B1.
So right there on the screen are all the ones after the Holmes and Molde. These are these were actually the actual official line. Red was for the Frank Manser box set. Expert was the second set with had Isle of Dread and all that stuff in it, and then of course you got Companions, then Masters, and then Immortals. So there was 5 of them. Yeah, that was the 3. I couldn't remember the last color. Yeah, do you?
I don't.
I've got them in pieces. Some of them I've got one good red box set and one good Expert. The rest of it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, see, I don't have any of those boxes or box
Yeah,
sets.
yeah. And then you went. Sounds like you guys bought Holmes. That's what we played on was Holmes because we didn't have chits. We had chits in ours. We didn't have dice in ours yet. In the Holmes, I think we had dice. I think we had chits. I don't know.
We had dice.
Did you? I don't know.
Yeah.
It varied, actually.
So here's the original books that were given to you, Davis.
Oh, that's OD&D books there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be back in 1975 or
Freaking
Dude,
awesome.
I so love that cover.
Yeah, I know, right?
You put that X on there. You put that X on there.
What was the X's for? Exactly.
So no one would take my damn books.
Because I had comics, Davis had comics, Zane had comics, so shit got mixed up.
It looks like you still ended up with most of it, though, is what I'm seeing.
I got all of Zane's comics. And Zane's are the most tragic because Zane he only bought war comic books, Sergeant Rock, Sergeant Field.
Yeah. Sure.
And he took a heavy duty Sharpie and wrote Zane Chenault.
Oh, no.
And it soaked through the covers into the first 3 pages.
Oh, that's horrible.
Ruined the value of all those comics.
All of them.
Yeah, I know.
Unless Zane becomes really famous someday.
Yeah.
Now here's a chainmail, but I don't think this is your original chainmail. I think I acquired this somewhere.
I think because my chainmail was brutalized.
Yeah.
I know the cover of my chainmail was ripped off.
So I can show you the brutalization of our books. This is the one that I took from Davis and used the most. It wasn't Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And look, you can see the cover.
Oh, mine's all to pieces. One of them's missing a cover. I don't know where it's at. It's gone.
Yeah, the cover's all off. And
Nice.
you can see where Davis and I taped
But
it.
you've got the 4th one. You've got the Glory, too. The Dwarves on the front. Don't you have that one?
Yeah.
That's
Dwarven
freaking
Glory.
Yeah, that's great.
Favorite adventure module of all time because I shot someone with a machine gun. I can't remember. Awesome.
You know what I missed? Okay, please tell me you have this. I don't know what happened to it. Steve's not wrong in that I bought literally just about every off-brand anything that I could that wasn't D&D.
That sounds like us. We did that too.
Of Skulls and Scrap Faggot Green.
Yes, I have that.
You have it?
Yep.
We talked about it on stream one night because I looked that up because I've never heard it before. So
probably one of the, if you get a chance out, if you're out there, go buy it. It's a city adventure. It is amazing.
Yes, no, it is really, really, really badass. But that's how it was played in the old day too, But if Skulls and Scrap Faggot Green you can play today, you have to let go of certain things.
Yeah.
But
was it Malaki's asking, is that Judges Guild module? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%
Judges Guild put out a lot of crazy stuff back then.
Yeah. So combat resolution on 4th on this chart. Look at that. That's just resolving combat.
And we never played Coop. We never played Invincible Overlord Date. So we were kind of restrained. My dad was in the Army, so we traveled, from post to post. And whatever comic book stores were local, which in those days there were not comic book stores. You really got your comic books at the grocery stores or the drug stores and those spinny racks, gas stations, stuff like that. And the comic book stores were really small, kind of underground, if you weren't in New York or something, kind of just strange little places. So whatever Davis could find, and
Sears would not go into today.
No, people would not go into today. My favorite, I remember it in Hopkinsville or Clarksville, Kentucky.
That basement.
It was in his literal basement, and we went. Mom would drop us off. We'd walk down his driveway, go behind the house down into this basement, which today, of course, would be all kinds of red flags. And there was, correct me if I'm wrong, Davis, because I was very young. Was there a couple of hanging lamps with just single light bulb, yellowish light? I mean, it was fantastic. It was amazing,
and stuffed full of comics
and stuff. And that guy was clearly tapped in because that's where he carried some D&D stuff that in the mid 70s, that's going to be 76, 77 is pretty rare, right? I mean, we're talking print runs of 1,000 and 1,500 or whatever the fuck. That is where your mother bought you Conan the Barbarian #1.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember that. We never did play. So to answer in response, whatever Davis could find is what we could get. So it was like a scatter shot, right?
Yeah, because there wasn't. I mean, it's not like now where you can get online and you can buy whole sets of everything. It was literally whatever some random guy picked up from some random location or whatever. So a lot of it was just hit and miss. Like that guy had some Judges Guild, but not. I mean, Judges Guild pulled out a ton. And then when we went to Europe, I mean, the selection was really limited.
Yeah, we at the Four Seasons is the only place that you could get anything. We're out sort of reading Piers Anthony. I do what I was about to say. Teagle Manor was really funny. I remember when Frog God our Necromancer games in those days got Teagle Manor, and Bill and Clark were going on and on and on and on about it. I had no idea what it was. I hadn't the slightest clue. Had never heard of it because it hadn't rotated through your stuff that I had seen. So I had no idea what they were.
Real quick, a couple things. Reaper Managers has just rated us. Welcome in, Reapers. How you doing? Good to see everybody. We are doing a giveaway during the stream. If you want in on that, just give us a follow over here at Twitch and Expert Sport Raffle.
Early summer.
Store codes.
Reaper guys stay for just 1 minute.
South Park, early summer.
Did you get the other one there? What is the rarest gaming book that any of us own? That would probably be one of y'all, I'm sure.
It's got to be one of these basic sets, right? One of these brown books.
I mean, we've got those. You've got the brown books. That's got to be older than what I got. I got
1975, something like that. Yeah. I just put them all back in the drawer, but yeah, it's going to be 75, 74.
What is he doing? It sounds like he's hurting himself.
So he's got 2 closets next to him, and one of them is filled with Davis's comics, magazines, board games, and all kinds of shit. His Reaper stuff.
Oh, there's his Reaper stuff. There you go.
Thousands and thousands of Reaper miniatures.
Reaper miniatures is the shit. Their miniatures are just
and I can never get around to putting them together.
That's the secret to the whole business. They just make you minis. You don't necessarily have to use them. You just buy more.
No. And I supported every one of their those Kickstarters for years that they did the Bones line, and I was just like, yep, 400, 800, 500, 600. But they're all in bags and stuff like that. I just don't have the time to get to
So probably, I don't know this, but I'm going to guess one of Davis's most, and he doesn't have it, I have it, but one of Davis's most valuable games. So his Lord of the Rings, War of the Rings board game, he's got 2. One came out later, and it's got a paper map. He also bought the original War of the Rings. It's got the hard case, hardcover map, which they stopped doing that in the late 70s, I think, maybe early 80s. So it's battered to shit, but we still have it in all the pieces.
Do you have it?
I have it, yes. I'm pretty sure I have it.
So I'll brag and say that I have 2 Lord of the Rings Risk boards.
Oh, nice. There you go. Davis did. The cool thing about Davis is he just bought anything he could. He had a paper route, so he had money,
right?
And he bought anything that he could get his hands on. I did not have a job, nor did I spend my money on anything other than movies and comic books and Tarzan books. That was all I bought.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm sure you were lined up for the Tarzan books.
Oh yeah,
that's good shit.
Oh, and I'm going to ReaperCon this year.
Sweet.
So
I'm just going to show up. I'm buying.
Yeah. So someone said they were going to post details like 2 years ago, and they never did. So whatever. I'll believe it when you send me a video of you at the damn booth. I'll believe it. So there.
No, there's not going to be a booth. It's just going to be me. I'm going to take the company credit card, buy me
Oh, God.
room and a ticket, and I'm just going to go for 4 days because I want to sit down and do the painting classes and bring some of my miniatures, get some miniatures painted.
You should.
And catch up on the Sophie line. Do you know what miniatures I'm talking about? The Sophie miniatures?
I do not know what you're talking about. Reaper might, but I have
All right.
So Reaper has this really cool line of minis. Every year they were putting out these Sophie miniatures. I think they were doing maybe six.
Yeah, well, we're just kind of talking about how it all came together, the history of it, and
Right.
AD&D affected our game design and all that stuff.
Davis, do you remember this?
Oh yeah. Hey.
These are puzzles that I got back in the 70s.
Wow. Now it's turned into a damn flea market. Great.
Yeah, well, you're gonna love this one, Chuck.
Am I?
So I
I'm
also
watching.
bought this puzzle.
Oh, nice.
The original Star Wars puzzles from long. But none of that has to do with the AD&D whatsoever.
What happened to my puzzles, eerie puzzles and stuff? There
He
was a whole
sold
box
them.
of them.
Made some
I
money.
forgot that
Oh, you took them.
you didn't have many eerie puzzles. You had the Lord of the Rings puzzles, the Frank Frazetta puzzles. Most of the eerie crap was mine.
Okay.
But your puzzles are in the trunk back there.
Steve Omote says he'll give you $5 for that old creepy box.
I don't honestly know if all the pieces are in these puzzles. I think they are, but I need to build them and see.
I
But
need
don't
to
like
build them.
puzzles.
That's not going to happen.
That's never good. I don't like puzzles, so
I don't like puzzles, but these are mine.
over at $4. You got it, man. Sending it your way.
No, Omega, they never stay on topic. That would be weird.
Oh, Sophie miniature.
Well, yeah, come on, man. Slow down.
So Sophie's
Yeah,
a succubus, from what I'm hearing in chat.
We got an auction going on with that.
Jesus
with
Lord,
this.
God. Thanks.
And it's 1,000 pieces. Look, I even wrote my name on the back.
Okay.
Kent.
How many people put the name of their name and their address in their D&D books growing up? I did.
So every year.
I did.
Every
Took
year.
down.
Okay, if there are any Reaper fans out there, just correct me if I'm wrong, or just like add the information that's necessary. I believe that, and Chuck, I'm sending some images to your thing.
Holy shit, that's badass.
No, and so every year they would put out a Sophie miniature for, I don't know when they started it, or the early 2000s, maybe earlier, but they're different every year, right? And some of them are so badass.
Yeah, Reaper miniatures are through the roof. It's $9.75 since it has Steve's signature.
Do what?
They're auctioning off my Star Wars game. It's up to $9 now.
Hey, you might make some lunch money here before it's over with. Who
Please,
knows?
I can get a cheeseburger.
Jeez,
And I think I've only got like 13 of these Sophie miniatures, and I want to get all of them. I want to get every one of them.
those are cool. I'm gonna put them up in the stream. They're cool. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Almost out. Too rich for my blood.
Too rich for me.
Come on, Mark the Shark. $10 won't even give me a cheeseburger, man. I think you can't even get a McDonald's burger. For
There's
10
one
bucks
right
a
there, and then this is the cool one right here too. I like this one as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool ones in there. So I want to get all the Reaper. I want to catch up with the entire line of like Sophie miniatures, and then have someone paint them for me, or I don't know what it is. It'd be funny. It'd be good.
All right, let's get back on topic. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. We wandered down nostalgia lane. We let's get off of that. We're at Reaper Lane now. Let's
Reaper Lane. Take a left.
So just so that people know that in the olden times at Gen Con, Davis started this with Ron over at Reaper. Davis would bring a whole bunch of CNC books and D&D books over to the Reaper and give it to everybody. And then Davis was allowed to go to the Reaper. I guess they'd come over and gather it, and then Davis was allowed to get Reaper miniatures off. So they just swapped. There was this huge swap going on for a while. It was fantastic. Absolutely cool as shit.
Yeah, is Ron still working at Reaper?
Yeah. He owns Reaper.
Yeah, he's around. Reaper Ron. I see him in chat sometimes and stuff.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, Reaper Ron is what we call him. Yeah. We had this thing going for a while.
Yeah, that's great.
That was a lot of fun. And
The early Gen Con were blast.
yeah, and every one of those freaking Kickstarters that I saw.
Speaking of the early Gen Con, so here's a little piece of history for you. The first time I bought An advanced Dungeons and Dragons player's handbook was 2003 at Gen Con. I just stole Davis's books.
Ron is art director. Okay, that's.
Oh, I thought he owned it. There you go. All right, so
there you go.
AD&D, Castle Zagyg, Dungeons of Greyhawk now revisited. It is on backer kit now. Originally conceived of as in an AD&D world, but we're doing it as Castles and Crusades per Gary's wishes. He wanted it to have a very active and big role-playing game. CNC certainly fits that bill. So if you have it, please go over and check it out. We are creeping towards our next stretch reward, which unlocks the teeth of Barkash Noir, written by Bill Sylvie, who was on this morning, I think, with Chuck. And never before published.
That's next week. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm an idiot. A never before published adventure that takes place kind of Zagyg adjacent. Go over
and for all of you Advanced Dungeons and Dragons players who are still out there, and I know there's quite a few, and I think probably what is it, Basic Expert maybe? No, Old School Essentials maybe.
There's all kinds of
should be able to play Castle Zagyg with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons rules. Totally 100%. You're only going to have to make a few switches in the monster stat blocks if you want to.
Honestly, I think it's just the armor.
If you're still playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons at this point, you literally will have to do nothing because you know all the stats already.
That's right. You've memorized it.
It's in there somewhere. You're not even going to do it. But this will give you absolutely 100% what Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is geared to do in all of its aspects. It's geared to do this. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, I will say that. And that's funny that, when we're playing with Jeremy in this little thing, it brings me back to those Advanced Dungeons and Dragons days. Yeah. I mean,
I love the mapping. The mapping part's my favorite because you would describe rooms to me, I would map. And at some point, like an hour into the game, I would be going off map, and you'd go. I mean, my lines would take me off the map, and you. How did you get off map? It's all on a piece of paper.
All the architects are restricted, so you should know.
My shit was always messed up, always.
Well, you saw my map. It just started at 3 different.
It's not easy.
Horrible mapper.
None of that, Juancholo. None of that. It's AD&D only, and we have taught Steve today that 2nd edition is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, so I can disavow myself of that. AD&D is 1st and 2nd edition. I never played 2nd, but the rules that came with 2nd, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was just, I don't know, it was the shit. And I think that what they should have done is just kept improving AD&D over the years as opposed to changing it all the time. But as Davis pointed out earlier, game designers, they love to tweak. And that's what happens years later.
Yes.
Excellent, Tomcat. That's all I played. I played AD&D up till about 2006 when Mac and Davis said, look, you got to run this game. You can go back to AD&D, but you have to run a few games of CNC and see if you like it so you know how it plays. And then Mo, thank you. And but you're right with my train of thought. I think maybe the 2nd game of CNC I played, I was like, oh shit, this has me. This is it. I'm here. And I have not turned around. I have not played AD&D since those days, and I can only vaguely remember. I'm sure it's not hard, how it plays. I mean, it's AD&D.
Hey, someone mentioned the 30-inch rolls of draft paper, how they missed those days.
There's Davis. He still has his roll.
How big are the squares on that thing?
Oh, King, like 1/18.
I know exactly. That's graphing. Yeah. Okay. Good God. You got the little tiny squares. Yeah.
This was one we got these on sale, and Mom let me buy them, and I got like 10 of them because they were like 20 cents or 25 cents a piece on sale at this place. And how much we mapped? This is the only one left.
Yeah, 100%.
We mapped freaking everything ridiculously stupid amounts.
We did. All right, so I'm going to answer this question, David.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got some questions here.
FCon1 asks,
and
let me answer it first. If Davis could tweak the Castles and Crusades rules, what would he do? The first thing he would tweak is the pricing. The second thing he would tweak is the damages. He hates all the damage. He wants to fix all the damages, makes it uniform. And I can't. You wanted a tertiary system, not a dual system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Davis wanted not 12-18. It was 18-15. I can't remember. Whatever it was. It was
18, 15, 12, 18, 15. I wanted
It's
the
in the
primary,
CKG.
secondary, and tertiary. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in the CAG. So there's stuff,
Yeah.
and then I can tell you now, Mac came to me. One of the big issues with CNC in the beginning is we said there's only one rule to rule them all. It's actually two. There's a siege engine and combat, and Davis and Mac never kind of merged those two. 10 years into CNC's publication, we were playing one night, and Mac came running into the room, just said, "I got it! I figured it out! I figured out how to do combat with the siege engine." And he mapped at this very desk that I'm sitting at. He mapped it all out for me, wrote it all down, and he went on for like 30 minutes or something. I said, "That's great, Mac, but I'm not publishing that. Or I'm changing the rule." He was like, "Fuck you, Steve." Really funny.
Yeah, and we lost those notes now. So
we don't have them. I asked him last year when we were at lunch. He goes, "Dude, I don't fucking remember that." So it was really funny.
So, Coop Waffles asks, Ernie Gygax labels CNC what his AD&D would look, or actually Gary labels his CNC what his AD&D 2E would look like, especially when adding the optional XP for skills and added. Would you say that's correct?
I would say that AD&D, what Castles and Crusades did is it took. So AD&D has a great fun combat system, but if you can bog it down if you want, but you don't have to. But everything else that you tried to do in AD&D was you had to figure something out. Swimming a river, talking to a bartender, whatever the fuck it was. And obviously 3rd edition created skill systems. I think 2nd edition had some skill systems too. And there was a hybrid attribute check system made in the Wilderness Survival Guide and the Dungeoneer Survival Guide, if I recall. You had to roll higher than your attribute, maybe? I can't remember now. Maybe lower. I can't remember. But what the Siege Engine did is it equalized all of that and made it into this ludicrously simple mechanic that you can easily. That's really just. I mean, that's it. The Siege Engine just resolved all of those other problems that you had with AD&D, right? I mean, Todd, I want to swim the river. Todd's got to figure out, okay, make a dexterity check, but what are you checking against? You know what I mean? This type of stuff. And the Siege Engine cleaned all that out. And
well, my idea of tertiary attributes is being shot down. It's like the worst word.
Well, I mean, it sounds like an important word. So KVNDV8 asks, question, Gary was going to add other character classes such as the Jester, and I saw that mentioned in Book 5 description. Were you able to find the 4 classes Gary wasn't able to put into AD&D?
No, what we've got is some stuff that's in the Canting crew, but I don't think that's Gary's. I think that's Todd Gray's. I'm pretty sure that's Todd's. And then we've got, because we were doing Legendary Adventures in those days, a lot of his stuff was going into LA. So we have not yet found notes. Now, there's lots of notes scattered in. I found some new ones just the other day that was in a folder because I've ended up with notes from Davis and Peter and myself. And different stuff was going to different directions. So,
sure.
At the moment,
no. Raven, I don't know if Peter's talking about Montebank or not. About that, I don't know if that's one of the character classes or something else. I don't know.
It was one of Gary's character classes. He wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
Any more questions?
Nope. I think we're.
Any notes on that ever?
Do what?
The Montebank.
That I think is in the Canting crew, but I don't know.
I don't think. Is it?
Do you have yours in front of you? I got.
What are you wanting? You want a Canting crew? I've got the PDF here. I can get out.
Oh yes, I am. Hold on, I got classes open in front.
Yeah, I couldn't read the book anyway, Steven. I've given up on books. It has to be on an electronic device. I'm doomed.
And it does not look like the Montebank.
I don't think that it was, but
no, it didn't look like it.
Did he ever write any ideas about what he wanted that class to be?
If he did, I don't have them. That I know of, but like I said, there's a good jillions of files.
Okay. Anyway, that's funny.
All right.
If you want to play the Castle Zagyg, I mean, this is if you're playing AD&D and you want that whole old school feel, this is going to be it. This is top notch it.
Yeah, 100%. Go over Dungeons of the Archmage, Zagyg. Make your pledge. Chuck, we need to fix that title again. Put it back to the way it was, if you remember. And then we changed it.
I was wondering about that.
Anyways, go over pledge. It's right there on backerkit.com. Chuck's going to put it up here in the stream real quick. If you can do that, Chuck. And we are going to wander on. So let's do the raffles. We've got the Eveline short. Sea Lanes has just gone to Chuck's desk for final edit, so that thing will be ready to go out probably this afternoon or probably realistically Monday. And Davis has to get back to his 712th revision of the Engineering Boats book. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing something. Oh, I got to get all of the PDFs output for the Gygaxian Fantasy World Series because I am prepping those for printing in the next couple of weeks. For an early summer release. Thank you, Rakir. 100%. We are closing in on 440,000. We're at 439 now.
Yeah. How close are we to it?
We are at 439, 321.
Oh, okay. That's great. Okay. Good deal.
You guys want to keep pledging? We can hang out here a little bit, but
yeah, if you have like specific questions for so in the backer kit,
right over.
Is there a thing where you can get at all of it, like you just one pledge and you get all the books?
Yes. 100%.
Okay. From the first and the second, or vice versa.
From the first and the second. Mm-hmm. Like everything included. There's
even the stretch rewards from the first one are included.
Okay. All right.
A bunch of stuff. And it's 40% off too of suggested retail price.
That's the way, Omega. Leave it to Davis and he'll do it.
What?
Primary, secondary, tertiary,
tertiary.
Okay. All right. I know you're gonna be fucking mad at me. Okay. I don't really care. So there was. I'm not gonna. Okay. So there's a lot of like stuff, and I literally pay no attention to it for whatever reason because I'm working on my own things. I'm getting my own things done, right?
Right.
So I get that luxury.
I was leaned in waiting for some great nugget of wisdom, and that's what I get. Luxury.
Unless someone's getting angry, he's like, you better get something out really soon. You better get something
What is
done.
Davis doing over there?
Yeah, I know. I get that. What exactly are you doing today? I'm like, yeah. So, anyway, I am making a new game.
Good God.
God help us.
Make it in Zaya.
It's specifically for Zaya. It's Siege based, but it's for Zaya, right? And it's not going to be necessary to play or anything like that. This is going to be the setting book, and then there's going to be a rules book that I would say, hey, just try this out for fun. But yes, I'm including tertiary in it, but you will never see the word tertiary.
There you go. Now you have it.
You will see 30-ary.
How much the D30 is going to make it? No Paladin, no news on the building. We're still looking. Actually, I had a call from the real estate agent yesterday that I did not take because I was streaming, or in an interview, whatever. I was doing something, and I need to call him back. But nothing on the hook now. Wife and I are going to head out this weekend and poke around, see if we can find something under the brush.
Oh, on land?
Yeah, land a build. I'd really just like us to get a building, and we move into the building. That would be
ideal.
I'll tell you the reason why I don't make executive decisions around here, because this is what I told them. I said, just go buy a piece of rural farmland, build it, and just wait for them to find you. Believe me, by the time the fines roll in.
All right, we can move to the next one. The migratory building.
Yeah.
We can get to it. What was it what is the Walter White show? Breaking Bad. They have that RV that they go out. We can just get Dakota a tractor trailer, and he can just drive around, bringing books and shipping stuff.
No, Paladin Dad, you're right. Between Clinton and Bologna would be perfect.
Yes, that's where we would like to land.
Yeah.
That and over to we're looking into Conway. Conway's got a lot of access.
And KevCon, I am on the 4th rewrite of the boat book, and that's the book that's irritating my brother so much right now because I don't
We got
know
covers.
anything.
We got art coming in. We got.
I don't know anything about, or I didn't going into this.
You know plenty now.
About boats.
Yeah, you know now.
But I also know how damn confusing you boat people are, and I think you do it intentionally.
Just like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
I know, it's like gatekeeping. Well, that's not the term for that, so you can't get on my boat. It's like, oh, whatever.
I do love reading.
It's really cool to see that, like, because now I can piece together, like, how boats developed over the ages, you know, in a general sense. I'm not explaining, but
when we read it, we can all piece together. But you got to finish it first.
Well, that's sort of turning into the issue is how to create it such that you can sort of see, because I don't want to get into the history of it. Right?
Yeah,
I don't really want to write a history book or anything like that.
Right.
But like the centerline rudder was developed in Asia something like 1,000 years before it showed up in Europe, right? So Europe had all these side rudders, which I didn't know. I had no idea that the side rudders were used for so long. You know, Viking ships had side rudders, and the Egyptians had side rudders. The
Vikings did.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the centerline rudder. I have the date written down somewhere when the centerline rudder showed up in Europe. But another thing, I was reading, and this is where it gets ridiculous, right? Because I'm trying to learn something like how do I present this boat in a way that's like both useful and somewhat accurate. So I got into some captain's logs accidentally, right, from the 14th century and 15th century. And this is where I came across this crazy thing. The ships in the Indian Ocean were gargantuan. The Indus Valley, or whatever, what is the empire before the English took over?
There
were several.
I don't. They're right.
Anyway, those ships were absolutely gargantuan. They dwarfed European ships.
Interesting.
In their size. They also used. So here's an interesting thing that I only found out just recently. So we have the planking. You know, there's clinker planking, planking, and then Mughal Empire. Some of the boats, not all, but some of the boats, the planking was held together by ropes, lashed with ropes. There was no pins or anything like that, right? So they had this roping in between the planks, giving the boats a pliability so that they could build them larger for that area. The waters were also calmer than the North Sea, Mediterranean, and stuff like that, which required a different type of stuff. Anyway, whatever. So anyway, it's to get to one damn boat, and you know how it is. You know exactly how it is when you start reading about something.
Yep.
You just you keep going with it and going with it and going with it until you realize 4 hours later, this is a ridiculously stupid amount of information that I need to present. And then I go to present something, or how much does this cost? Well, how the fuck would I know how much it costs?
And then you're gonna turn it over to me and go, dude, this is too many words. You gotta cut 20,000 words out of this.
No, I'm handing it over to you both as a Word document, as an InDesign document, exactly how I want it to be. So you don't get the choice. You don't get the choice. It'll be.
I love it. Love it.
Anyway.
The more stuff that arrives on my desk that's more finished, the happier I am.
Yes, I like big boats, and I cannot lie. Dude, some of those boats are absolutely gorgeous. Some of those.
All right, that's a strain for another day, Davis.
Okay.
Chuck?
Yeah.
We got raffles.
Let's do it then. Let's see. I'll get these raffles closed out right now. I'm gonna get out of here.
While he's closing that off, someone out there put us over 440. A couple of pledges will send this Kickstarter over.
Yes. Very close.
On the 450 goal.
Now we have some other stuff coming up. A lot of streams next week. We've got a stream that Steve will be over out on Iconic Productions on Twitch at around 3:30 Central, I think, Monday afternoon. Don't quote me on that. It's in the adverts posts. And then after that stream with Luke, they're going to raid into us, and Luke's going to play in the Castle Zagyg game with us Monday evening with Jeremy running. And Jeremy's going to kill him. I mean, Jeremy's going to entertain the group. It'll be great. I haven't talked to Luke. I got to reach out to Luke today and find out what character he wants to play and all that good stuff. So we got that. Then Tuesday, we're going to do the regular AMA that Steve usually does Tuesday afternoons around 4:30 Central. And then we are going to raid into Jay, Lord Gasumba, and him and Luke are going to be on there chatting it up about things with Jay. And then Wednesday, we're going to have another stream. I haven't got the time worked out yet, but we're going to be on with Bill Sylvie and Jeremy and Davis and Steve talking about stuff. So lots going on next week before we close out the campaign. So check it out if you can. That would be great.
That sadness, I'll send Luke a text and let him know.
What did he say? What did he say?
He said MILF, the mother of MILF.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If I see that joke another time on the internet, I'm going to have a stroke. All right, I'm going to close the entries out right now. Here we go. Booyah. And we're going to pull. We'll do some, so for everybody that's new to this, and I feel like we've got a lot more viewers right now than we normally do this time of day, a link will pop up in the chat to our Discord. You just join if you're not already a member. 3,000 wonderful people over there. They will help you. But we'll get you a code. Obsidian Risk is the person you need to talk to. He's the keeper of the codes, and you can DM him or he'll DM you. He's watching. He's hanging out. And that's it. So we're going to do 2 $10 PDF coupon codes. I'm going to do 2 15s, and I think we'll do a 25 since you guys hung out this long with us. Y'all been good today, so we appreciate it. All right, let's do this. First, for the $10 PDFs, we have Malaki 9998. Look at you, Mr. Smarty. There you go. Next winner for a $10 PDF code is Vivian 2. You've not won in a while. I'm glad you won. That's fantastic. Vivian. And then for the $15 codes, we have 2 of those. One is Wolf Alone. Hoo! And the next is Astralier. Jeremy, congrats, buddy. Way to go. Awesome. And then for our last giveaway, $25. Yeah, I know it's rigged, Kev. You're right. $25 winner would be MJ Cook. Congrats, MJ Cook. Fantastic. All right. Great job, guys. I'm going to set us up a raid. We're going to raid into somebody. So some of you guys that are off today, you can raid in and watch Table Story. They're doing some unusual D&D over there, I think, or some sort of a game with looked like a spin wheel. It looks kind of cool. I like to set you guys up with somewhere to go in case you're just chilling out at the house. I know Wolf is. He's been off work all morning, so we'll set that raid up. I
just want to say, Chuck, I love how when Chuck first started this job, he was super into everything that's going on in the universe of the hobby. And now he's so busy, he's like, I don't know what that is. It looks cool.
Looks great. Yeah. Because I know that I have work to do. It's all good, though. You know?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, though, because, when it's not your job, you have time to spread out and take a look at everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But once you get into, working at it, you're your scope narrows and narrows.
Oh, and Chuck also gets a text from me at least twice a day. What are you working on? Which is basically, I need you to do something.
Yeah, that's what it translates into. How can I help you? That's what I think I say usually. Yeah. All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to raid into Table Story. Give them a follow if you would. Great high production over there. Good stream to watch. And we'll catch you guys, what is today? Friday? So we'll catch you guys Monday at some point. If not, over the weekend.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
Yes, thank you so much. That's right. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thank you again so much. We're going to get out of here. Trolls Eye! Ow! Raid now.